Yizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you could tap in or you could tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest? And I suggest you tap in, so let's get right into it. And Big U, you are the topic of discussion, my G. Big U, you are the topic of discussion, my G. So let's get right into it. Now, you already know what's going up in these YouTube streets. You got Wack 100 talking like a federal informant on the phone to Hassan Campbell. We all heard the audio. It's been leaked, and I'm sure Haas has plenty more. He has plenty more in the stash. But this isn't about Wack 100. You know, Wack 100 has some choice words. He had choice words for Big U. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Big U, if you ask Wack 100, is one of the biggest snakes you can find in LA. He said Big U is the biggest snake of them all. He said if Big U is friends with you, if Big U is cool with you, then he has a motive. He had a hidden agenda, and he'll do anything to get to the top. These are Wack 100's words. You feel what I'm saying? He also explained that, you know, Big U tried to get him to use that footage that Wack claims is in his phone. That's what he said. I'm only going off of what Wack said out his own mouth. He said the footage was in his phone, and he said Big U tried to get him to lean on Laura London and lean on Black Sam for 30% of Nipsey Hussle's estate. Now think about that. That's deep. That's lucrative. That's big money. Oh man, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap. Now, after Wack spoke these words, you know, here come Big U. You know what I mean? The big Crip, the big rolling 60 Crip leader comes to social media and he makes a response. Now, this particular response, he's in the car, he's riding around, and he's talking his talk, and he's doing his 1-2 punch when it comes to this social media, when it comes to this YouTube thing. You know, he want to get his numbers up. He want to get his views up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface. And one thing you got to know is that we scratching the surface. And I'm going to home in on this video and this response from Big U, because it's always red flags being thrown around. It's always smoke and mirrors to see through. And it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. And that leads me and segues me into my first angle. And that's the mannerisms and the facial expressions of Big U while he's doing this response to Wack 100. Now, let me spread this angle out for you a little bit. Let me show you exactly how it falls into place. You know, when Nipsey Hussle was assassinated, Big U, he came to social media just like he did now. He made a whole bunch of videos. He did this whole PR run. You remember I told you about PR, public relations. You understand? He did a whole bunch of podcasts. He did a whole bunch of interviews explaining that him and Nipsey Hussle was the best of friends. You know, he didn't understand why people was pointing the finger at him, because him and Nipsey Hussle were the best of friends. Yes, they had their issues back in the day, but they had reconciled all of those situations. You know, he even explained that he was the only one that awarded Nipsey Hussle a trophy for his accolades and for his achievements. Now, if you want to do your research, go back and look. You know, Big U did all type of podcasts, all type of shows, all type of interviews explaining that him and Nipsey Hussle were best friends. But when you look at this response he did to Big U, and you look at his facial expressions and you look at his mannerisms, it don't look like they was best friends at all. When you got somebody like Wack 100 speaking on your homie, your so-called homie, in a manner that he been speaking on Nip since he passed, you know, you would probably be upset. You would probably have some choice words for Wack 100. you know, talking about Nip, keeping Nip name in his mouth. But when you look at this video, he's doing a lot of smiling. He's doing a lot of, you know, swaying and talking slick, and, you know, he's feeling himself. You understand what I'm saying? And that in itself shows you that him and Nip was not cool. Nip was tired of being extorted. Yeah. And Nip had become King Crip. And he was too big. He had gotten too big. He had outgrew the situation, and he had got bigger than the program. And you already know what they say in Cali. You can't get bigger than the program. Nobody is supposed to be bigger than the program but Nip. Yeah, Nip hustle. You know what I mean? Nipsey the Great became bigger than the program. Yeah, and like I said before, if they were best friends, if you and Nipsey were so cool, why would you be so lax, you know, so nonchalant about the foul language that's being used on homie's name? Let me give you an example, right? Him and Nip was really friends. They were best friends. They had, you know, put everything in the past and they were moving forward. And you have somebody like a Wack 100, you know, a longtime Pyru, a rival, talking down on your homie. You gonna check him. You gonna say, look, Wack, I understand it's this, that, and the third, but we gonna handle that. You not speaking crazy on Nip name. Don't let it happen again. Next time it's going to be, you know, consequences and repercussions coming behind that. But instead, he's cool with Wack 100. Actually, if you let Wack 100 tell it, they're in cahoots. They have been extorting for years upon years now. They have been doing their thing, friends, for a long time. And they just had a falling out a little under a year ago where they haven't been speaking. You understand? If you let Wack tell it, you know, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface, and you already know we scratching the surface. And it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. But if that was your homie, if Nipsey was your man, the way you claim he was, you understand? Your reactions wouldn't be so. You'd have something to say about Wack 100 and the disrespect he's showing one of your fellow Crips. Yeah, man. Like you said, now, I don't agree with a lot of the things that Big U says, but he says something in this particular video that I do agree with. The writing is on the wall. The writing is on the wall. And let me add something to that, Big U. Even a blind man could see this situation clearly, my G. A blind man could see this situation clearly. You know, a lot was said when it comes to Wack 100. And then you look at this response from Big U and you understand he's in bed with Wack 100. He can't talk greasy, but we gonna get into that. Yeah, we gonna get into that. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. And that leads me and segues me into my second angle. And like I said, that's just why is Big U so quiet? Why is Big U so quiet while watching a Pyru disrespect a Rolling 60 Crip? And not just any Rolling 60 Crip. I'm talking about one of the biggest to ever do it. The biggest to ever do it. The majority of us would not even know who Big U was or is if it wasn't for Nip Hustle. 75% of your fans and your core audience wouldn't know you if it wasn't for Nip. So why are you so quiet? And like you said, Big U, you know, the writing is on the wall. The writing is on the wall, Big U. And it's obvious. You know, you've been in bed with Wack 100 for so long, he has a lot of dirt on you. Wack 100 has a lot of incriminating evidence and information on you, Big U, and he actually exposed a handful of it on the phone with Hassan Campbell. You feel what I'm saying? So the whole 30%, that's just the tip of the iceberg on what Wack 100 has on Big U, allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to know, if you listen to Wack's demeanor on the phone and you listen to how easily Wack disrespects Big U, throws him under the bus, says he's washed up. You understand? You'll be able to see clearly that he has weight on Big U. He has information on Big U. And I'm gonna tell you this: the information Wack has on Big U, hopefully he didn't spill too much more of it. But we're going to leave that up to Haas, because Haas has more. He has multiple upon multiple different audio recordings of Wack just, talking like Wack do. The guy that's going to get the whole squad indicted. The guy that's going to get the whole squad locked up. The guy that's going to be on 10 hours worth of wiretaps. That's Wack 100. So when I watch Big U, kind of skate around and try to make fun out the situation, it's letting me know that you don't want to rub Wack the wrong way. You don't want any more information coming out. You're trying to play cool. You're trying to be smooth with it. But I can see through the smoke and mirrors, Big U. I can see you're nervous, my boy. Yeah, you're nervous. You should be. You should be very nervous when you got a homie, a homeboy of your own that run his mouth like Wack 100 do. And you know what he knows. Yeah, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface, and you better believe we scratching the surface. We scratching the surface, my boy. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. At all times. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. And that leads me and segues me into my third angle. My third angle, my G's. And that's the fact that Big U has a lot of work. Big U has a lot of opportunity that has presented itself to him. Now, mind you, when Nipsey was alive, when Nipsey was all money in, when Nipsey was portrayed as the leader of the Rolling 60 Crips, not just by the LAPD and the feds, but by the world, we all saw Nip as the head, right? If you can remember properly, Big U didn't have any documentaries lined up. He didn't have any, funding. Yeah, Big U didn't have any big time white people or, those people pouring money into him. And when you listen to this response, he says, those people ain't going to just give nobody no money that ain't popping. Those people ain't going to give nobody no money where they name ain't, jumping. And why is Big U name jumping? Off the back of Nipsey. Like I said, it's not just you. That goes for Cowboy. That goes for a lot of the dudes around Nip. A few of them. They had nothing jumping before Nip died. Cowboy, Big U. They was trying, especially you. Let's stay on you. Big U. He had his little organizations. Nipsey was helping him. Nipsey went to a few of the functions to support him. Just off GP. And you could tell when you watch those interviews and you watch those videos of Nipsey at those functions, Nipsey ain't really want to be there, man. He just understood the chain of command. And he understood that Big U is a big homie and he was going to help him out. But you didn't have any of these things lined up. So how is it that after Nipsey dies, now you got a media company and you got funding for this and you got funding for that? A lot of y'all gained success off Nipsey Hussle's assassination. A lot of y'all, and I'm just talking to you, Big U, for sure. You dig what I'm saying? It gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface, and we definitely scratching the surface. And Big U, you wasn't popping like that before Nip died. You wasn't getting things jumping. If that was the case, you wouldn't have needed Nip. You could have did it on your own. But somehow, some way, you're capitalizing and you're monetizing off of the death of the homie. That's a red flag. That's the writing on the wall that you talking about. That's the, even a blind man could see it clearly. A blind man could see it clearly. You wasn't jumping like that before Nip passed away. You wasn't getting it popping. You wasn't getting to a bag. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. At all times. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. We coming from multiple different angles, my G. And this is the last and final angle, the fourth and final angle, the last angle. And that's just Big U speaking about the haters keeping his name alive. You know, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. You ain't doing something right. That would make sense if it wasn't off the back of your so-called homie. You know, the guy that you went on a press run about soon after he died because public relations told you, boy, you better get out there and get your name cleared because you're looking suspect. Yeah, it would be all good if it wasn't off the back of Nipsey Hussle the Great. That's a shame, my boy, that y'all can be in the same gang. Y'all could be, you know, rolling 60 Crips. Y'all can be partners, as you so-called claim. And then you happily take the fame off his death. Like, once he dies, you just start capitalizing off the situation. That's what lets everybody know that you had something to do. That's what lets everybody know that you had your hand in the pot, Big U. Allegedly. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times, my G's. And Big U saying, you know, you ain't got no haters. You ain't, man, listen, your name is in everybody's mouth for the wrong reasons, Big U. Your name is in everybody's mouth for the wrong reasons. If right now, your homie Wack said you are extorting Nipsey for 30%, extorting his family. Yeah, saying that you and him held on to a sex tape, allegedly, that Nipsey had that would show him in the light of the LGBT 123 ABC gang. You know, the Rainbow Coalition. Y'all held on to that for extortion. Everybody that's listening, everybody that's out there that's tuned in, salute to all the investors, salute to everybody that's locked in. I want y'all to go back and watch Big U's PR run soon after Nipsey was assassinated. Watch how he jumped on the 85 South show and this show and that show and this podcast and that podcast and this interview and that interview, all explaining how he couldn't have had nothing to do with it. And its only leverage was, you know, we put all that behind us and we was the best of friends, and he wanted me to go on tour with him, and he called me big homie. Yeah, all things you use to cover up the fact that, you know, allegedly you and a few other people had your hands in a pot that got Nipsey taken out of here. I'm gonna tell you this before I slide, before I go up out of here. When you touch somebody, when you touch the wrong person, the wrong spirit, the universe and the energies, you gotta pay. You gonna, listen, whoever had something to do with it, we're gonna watch them crash. We're gonna watch them fall. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be at all times, my G's. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. You know what I'm saying? You can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick and to the bottles. Straight, raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoat nothing, and we not dressing nothing up. Big U, we giving it to you straight raw, my boy. Feel me? Big U, we giving it to you straight raw. And I just went play for play, line for line, chess move for chess move, bar for bar, on how this latest response from Big U, right, is furthermore exposing his hand. See, Wack done already told a lot, but looking at your mannerisms, looking at your facial expressions, man, you ain't hurt behind Nip getting smoked. You never look hurt one time, but he's your homie. You never look distraught. You never look like, wow, I can't believe the homie is gone once. But that's your dog. Before Nip passed and was assassinated, you had nothing jumping like that, my boy. Not on social media. Not that anybody could see. Nothing was jumping. You wasn't being funded. You didn't have anybody looking at your name. Nothing was jumping. You was still trying to pin Nips in. You was trying to get Nipsey pinned in the corner to still try to get some paper out of him and extortion, because you had nothing jumping. But now that nip is gone. Oh, you balling, baby. Oh, you got all the opportunity in the world. They just trying to fund your little projects and your media companies and all this and all that. Yeah, like you said, Big U, the writing is on the wall. And I'm going to tell you this, a blind man can see it clear. A blind man can see this as clear as day, my boy. A blind man can see. You understand what I'm saying? And then, you know, you just got to understand, like, you know, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. Yes, that is true. But if you getting haters and you getting clout on your name off the death of your homie, that ain't gangster. That ain't cool. Nah, we got to put that out. That's not gangster. That ain't nothing that ain't standing on business. For you to have a Pyru disrespecting the Crip and you ain't handling that. You ain't even speaking foul on it. You know, and I'm going to stick on you. But like I said before, I'm talking about everybody that was supposed to be sliding for Nip. You don't even see them go on their social media and just say, yo, this dude Wack is a sucker. Nobody does anything. Just let Wack be Wack. And I'm going to tell you this, last but not least, one thing for sure, two things for certain. If you continue to let Wack be Wack, he going to get the whole crew indicted. Everybody involved is going to mess around and fall because of Wack doing his thing. Wack being Wack. Yeah, his name fits him. His name fits him properly. Wack. Wack. I mean, it is what it is. Wack. He named himself that. I didn't. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. You know, it gets deep, it gets wicked, and it's always deeper than rap when you scratching the surface, and you better believe we scratching the surface. So you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. You know, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest? I suggest you tap in.